looking forward to opening things up this week? Because I know that things are a little bit vanilla in the preseason.
Yeah, we're excited. Obviously, another chance, but they count now, right? So certainly go in with your full assortment of tricks and things that you need, your full assortment of attack. Obviously going up against a really good defense, really good team. So it'll be fun to see our guys compete, go into that environment, have played there many times, and get after a really good top-notch defense.
What's been your takeaway when you see Brandon Marshall, a 12-year vet, working after practice with a Trey Flowers or grinding with Russell coming off the field about route techniques and that sort of thing, for him to still be putting in that kind of effort to integrate into this team 12 years in the league? What does that kind of mean?
I think it's amazing. I think it's great for our young players to see that, the David Moores of the world, guys like that are young players that are, kind of maybe finding their way or looking for a role model. He's always talking about football, very self-critical. He'll get down on himself. He knows when maybe he makes a mistake, and so all those attributes that you love from not only a veteran player, but a guy that's accomplished so much in his career, 950 whatever catches it is, and just to see that work ethic, you can see he's having fun, and I know he's excited about going back up there and competing, but it's really just you can't do it justice with words how powerful it is for our young players, even other positions. Rashad Penny, to watch the way he works and communicates with Russ and the coaches is really cool.
One of the things he appreciates about you is the way that you will listen to players and trust the quarterback. Where did you learn that was an okay approach, I guess, because not all coaches and coordinators would do that?
Probably my first year in coaching, I was a quality control coach with the Rams and was just helping out with the quarterbacks, and sat down one day after practice talking to Isaac Bruce and was just kind of amazed at what a wealth of knowledge Isaac was in terms of route running techniques and the ability to release versus press, top of the routes. And I just remember sitting there. I've always been a big note taker, and I kind of went in and I wrote down a bunch of notes, jotted down. Then the next day I grabbed them again and said, "Hey, I missed a few things. So can we, talk about it a little bit more?" So that kind of taught me early that these guys see it different than we do in terms of the vantage point, right? We see it from back in the back, but they're out there doing it. And so I think you're crazy if you don't listen to them, take obviously their input, and then again look at the film and try to make what you think's the best decision for us to be successful. But I've always listened to players. Doesn't mean I do always what they want, but certainly take their input, and after factoring it all together with the staff and stuff, we make a decision what we think gives us the best chance to win.
Obviously, Chris starts at tailback. How do you then kind of work Rashad into things?
Well, again, we'd like to get all our guys some reps. Obviously, going up there, we don't necessarily have hey, got to get this guy so many carries, got to get this guy so many touches. We'll just kind of see how the flow of the game goes. You're going to see them all, which is cool. I think that's important, again, that we get all these guys involved, not just the running backs, but tight ends, receivers, all those guys. I think it's one of those games where guys are going to be excited, they're going to be amped up, again, going into a fun environment. So we'll just kind of see how the game goes, and you kind of you normally get a sense as the game goes of who's got the hot hand, or hey, this guy's really feeling good, or he's running well, and sometimes that's kind of how you get late in the game. You're like, okay, let's give him a little bit more carries, but just kind of going, and there'll be a little bit of a routine where we kind of throw guys in, and then we'll kind of see where it plays out.
Is it possible to get 4 different running backs touches in a game? How big of a chore is that?
Again, I think, we'd like to get them all involved in some regard. Doesn't necessarily have to be just on offense. But again, each guy's going to be ready. Each guy, if they do get called upon, will be ready to go. But again, I think it's important to have a number of backs, and they play off each other, which is fun. It's cool to see when they're excited when the other guy has success. And again, it's a young group of backs, so I think they're all excited. They're all confident, but they're also pulling for their brothers.
Brent Hundley's only been here a week or so. What have you seen as he's trying to kind of catch up to this offense?
He's swimming a little bit, which is to be expected. Working extremely hard. He and Coach Canales are spending a bunch of time together. It's really just trying to get us to transition him into some of our verbiage, things that he's done at Green Bay that he likes, that he's comfortable with. Those are things that you try to do. Again, I've said this, I think, before. We all kind of run the same plays around the league. It's just what you call them is a little different. But again, excellent, very bright, excellent student of the game, really good in the classroom, has good perspective for Russ on some things. They played the Broncos, I think, maybe last preseason or So he's played that group, knows them a little bit. So he's fitting in really, really well. And we'll go into the game, and he'll have his plays and his menu. And it kind of takes me back to being around Jacoby last year. It's a little small maybe to start. And then the next week it gets a little bigger. And then when you get into week 3 or 4, it's pretty much they've got a much better grasp of everything.
You mentioned Jacoby. You guys brought him in right at the start of things last year. Obviously, he was playing for you pretty quickly. But how long did it take for him to kind of digest things and get up to speed to a level?
Each guy's different. Again, early on they normally all have wristbands, because they know the play, but it's just the verbiage. The verbiage kind of gets a little bit tricky for him, like, ooh, what do I call that? But he was in a situation where he had to go and play week 2. So that obviously kind of upped the ante a little bit. But again, they're very comfortable with what they know. All quarterbacks like to go out there, whether it's 2-minute or whatever it is, and there's plays that they know, and more importantly, there's plays that they like. And the plays that they like, for some reason, they tend to work better. I don't know why. It's just that they believe in it. They trust it. They're like, okay, I know this coverage. The ball's going to go here. So he's going to get to that point. And, again, he'll be ready if we need him.
What have you seen in the progression of the offensive line from day 1 to now, just a couple days before the Broncos game?
Yeah, again, it's been a really fun group to watch. There's been a lot of different, pieces moving in there. Obviously, again, going kind of left to right. I think, Dwayne's playing exceptionally well right now. Obviously very, very talented guy. Again, Ethan Posic's doing a good job. Again, watching those 3 guys with Justin kind of work together has been awesome. You can see that, there's a timing element, there's a trust element when you play offensive line. And you see those guys having that. Obviously a little bit of movement at the right guard position with both DJ and now JD coming in. But again, Fetty and George and those guys, they're working well. They're transitioning well. We've played our guys quite a bit, which is good. And this will be a big challenge because we're going against a really good front with some really good players in a loud environment, but we expect them to play well together. They're competing, and they're playing hard.
You were with Darryl Daniels as well with the Colts last year, right?
We were.
Yeah. What do you see out of him, and what can we expect?
Good young player, from local from UW. Again, really powerful, straight line speed guy, good hands, really good on special teams. Just a really good young player that works extremely hard, and we're excited that we got him and add him to another pretty young group.
Well, how was Rashad better in pass protection?
Obviously, again, he's number one. He's extremely intelligent with all that stuff. That's the first part of it is in pass protection, you got to know who to block. And there's a lot of things moving around, and there's people disguising and stuff like that. So that's been terrific. And he's extremely powerful. So, again, it's been just some technique stuff that he's been working on base and strike and stuff like that. But, again, he's so much more comfortable even now than he was because, again, it's just the more you do it, it's like a dance step. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get. And so, again, I think he goes into this game knowing that they're going to bring some pressure, and he'll be there to meet him in the hole.
Jermaine's been challenged a lot for his spot. How have you seen Jermaine respond to the guys you've thrown at?
Fetty?
Yeah.
Really well. Matter of fact, one of my favorite plays this preseason was the Minnesota game. We ran the little trap play down in the red zone, and he had an unbelievable block. He blocked down on the 3 technique. I think it might have been Sheldon that kind of knocked him back, and you watch the emotion that he had after that play. It was pretty cool. We had a little fun with it in the meeting, but he responded, and he's competing, and he's got a lot of pride, and again, playing at a high level right now.
Was that Chris's touchdown?
That's Chris's first touchdown, right? Yeah, it's a great clip. You guys should go look at it.
You mentioned blocking in the Minnesota game. Will Dissly had a block on Brian Robinson.
He did.
Robinson in that one.
He did.
When you look at a play like that, to be able to get something like that out of a tight end spot to drive a defensive end like that, how big of a boost can that be for you guys up front?
Unbelievable. It's not just the technique itself is hard. You're blocking a defensive end, a veteran guy like Brian's a really good player. But what I think we loved about him was how he just sustained the block. The ball kind of got pushed a little bit farther outside than we wanted it to, but Will just kind of stayed with him. I think that's it's exciting. It's exciting for your group, for your offense, for the backs, for the line. Just, again, he's done a really, really good job for us. And those guys get asked to do tough jobs. I mean, they get matched up on big men and or really athletic linebackers like this week. And he's done a really nice job with all those things. But that was a very cool play as well.
Anything
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.